Hi there, Tammy Beard with Stampin' Savvy. Thanks for joining me. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I want to share with you the new Frosted Floral Designer Series paper. We're going to take a quick peek at the paper itself, and then I've got several card projects that I want to show you that was made with the paper, including 2 masculine birthday cards, one of which we're going to make together today. So, in the new catalog, it happens to be on page 37, the Frosted Floral Specialty Designer Series paper. That's what you're going to get to see up close today. So let me show you what the prints are. Shimmer paper, the entire thing shimmers. Double-sided, 12 by 12. Watercolor images. There is 13 different colors. Let's see if I can remember them all. We've got some Mary Merlot, Blushing Bride, Shaded Spruce, Gray Granite, Pineapple Punch, Night of Navy, Pear Pizzazz, Mint Macaron. Did I say that one? Not sure what else I'm missing. Look at this one right here. Is that not just a cutie? That one just makes me smile. It just seems so cute. And then we kind of move into some foliage patterns, and you've got this overall leaf pattern. You've got kind of this vine print, okay? Now let's flip them all over, and we've got this great print here, Blackberry Bliss, stripes in soft suede, that mint macaron with kind of that berry sprig. That's Gray Granite berry sprigs. We've got the Shaded Spruce with kind of this all over pattern, and then again kind of a viney Pear Pizzazz pattern. So what I like about this is that you get this great mix. You get a mix of different sizes of patterns, so you get some really large prints here, kind of medium and smaller. Like I said, you get the floral and the foliage, some small ones here, but then these are what I call great accents. These make great backgrounds as well as accents. So let me show you some of the cards that were made with this paper. So this one was made with the winter print, and I won't bother to go back and get it, but look at that. Is that not just a beautiful winter holiday card? If you're not into the traditional red or green, this would be perfect. This one here was a real quick note card to make. Designer Series paper becomes the main focal point, and then you just use the paper as your accents. This one was same design with the print that you see right here. And then it's designed to coordinate with the First Frost bundle, which is a coordinating stamp set and framelits dies. And this has the same effect. These stamps create the same watercolored effect. And so you see, like in that berry sprig right there, you saw in the prints, like in this one and in the mint one as well, kind of that mirrors that. So great for being able to do some layering. This is one of the masculine birthday cards that I made. This is one of the narrow note cards, really quick and simple, great to attach to a men's gift. This one is a holiday card. This one incorporates the cardstock pack that comes with it. So Blackberry Bliss, Gray Granite, and Shaded Spruce are the 3 colors that come with that cardstock pack. And so for Christmas cards, holiday cards, absolutely gorgeous. Don't you think? Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so there you got your peek. I'm going to set this off to the side. And we are going to create a masculine birthday card right here. We're going to make this one here. But instead of making exactly this one, we're actually going to flip the paper over to the back side. So this is this side right here. The back side is that soft suede striped. So the one that we're going to make today, we're going to use the brown side just to shake it up and give you a little bit of variety. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring in what you're going to need. We're going to be using one of the note cards and envelopes from the set. These are nice because they're already cut and scored for you. So you just literally do your crease and you're set to go. I've used Very Vanilla. You could also use Whisper White. Either one works. You're going to want a piece of cardstock. I've used the Very Vanilla, and it's going to be 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then a piece of the vellum cardstock at 3 by 4 1/2. And I will put these measurements on the blog with a link in the YouTube description. Then we're also going to want a piece of that designer series paper that has been cut to the 3 1/2 by 5 to match the size of the note card. So I've gone ahead and I have put that on here, and I have gone ahead, and I've put the Very Vanilla cardstock underneath that, and I've gone ahead and adhered that. And what I want to show you is how to do this vellum piece right here, because we're going to do some heat embossing, and then we're going to do some glossy accents that's going to dress this up. So to do that, we're going to bring in our Stamparatus. It's going to help us today to get some exact placement. Now is a perfect time to invest in the Stamparatus before the holidays, because if you make your own Christmas cards, being able to do repeat stamping with this saves you hours, so much time. You will be so happy to have this. But today we're going to use it for the exact placement. So what we're going to do is, I've got my spacers in here. Anytime you're going to be stamping close to the hinges, I like to use those. And because there's not a lot of room left at the bottom of this paper, that's essentially what we would be doing. If you want information on how I did these, because they're DIY, I would be happy to share that with you. Just leave me a comment that you're interested. And if I get some comments, I will be glad to do a video on it. Okay, so the vellum is down. I went ahead and I have already placed the stamp in the alignment that I want. I would need to bend over to get it straight, and I didn't think you'd want to see the back of my head. So that one's already set up on there. Let's bring in the stamp set that we're going to use. It's the Birthday Wishes for You stamp set, and we're going to be using both of these. And I'm also going to be using this case to put underneath here to level this out to make this a little bit easier to do our inking. But before we do that, I want to bring in the Embossing Buddy. This is an anti-static powder, and let's just run that over the surface of that vellum. That just keeps your embossing powder from sticking places that you don't want it, like maybe spots where your fingerprints might be. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to bring in the Soft Suede Classic Stampin' Pad, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to ink this up. And we're going to go ahead and give that a good rub. Make sure that we get that real good and even. And I didn't rub enough here. So let's do that. There we go. That looks good. And then we're going to come in with our Simply Chamois. And what I've done is I just cut a strip off, and then I use that to wipe off my stamps when I am using the Stamparatus. I just find it a little bit easier than using the big piece. Love the Simply Chamois. Okay, now we're going to come in, now that that is clean, we're going to come in with our Versamark ink pad. This is a watermark stamp pad, great for doing watermark images, but also because it's nice and sticky, you can use it for your heat embossing. Okay, so I think we've got that inked up nice and good. And this is just going to go right on top of the color that we just did, that soft suede color. This is going to allow our clear embossing powder to stick. Okay, and we are ready to go. Pull this off. Speaking of grid paper here, well, I wasn't speaking of it yet, but they are introducing on October 1st a pad that is perfectly sized to the Stamparatus, so you don't have to cut down your larger grid pieces like I do. Really, really excited about that. You'll also be able to get extra plates as well as extra magnets, and I think I'm forgetting something. I don't know what it is. But anyhow, October 1st, you'll hear all about it. So before we do this, the heat embossing on this, I'm going to bring in that other piece that we're going to be using. This is just a piece of scratch pear pizzazz. This is going to be our accent. We're going to bring back the soft suede, and for this, all we need to do is ink up the happy and the other banner piece. And before we drop it down, all we need is basically to line it up from this point up, and that'll give us the two pieces that are going to be the accents. So these right here. And then we'll be all done with our stamping. So there we go. I didn't get that very good. I'm trying to do this kind of without leaning. So perfect. Okay, now we're done with our Stamparatus. So let's go ahead and take that off. And we're going to go ahead and do our heat embossing. So what I've done is I've got the heat tool here. We're going to be using setting number 2. 1 is low, 2 is high. We're going to go ahead and turn it on. I'm going to set it off to the side for about 20-30 seconds because I want it to get nice and hot and warmed up before we actually bring it to the paper. Let's bring in our clear embossing powder. Now I store my embossing powder in this little container. This is just a couple of containers that have been dumped in. I'm going to bring in a coffee filter to catch any leftovers. And we're going to go ahead and just dip this in. And that's all I do with it. You can see why I like having the container. If you don't have yours stored that way, and it's just in the regular container from Stampin' Up, then all you would do is just hold this over the coffee filter, dump yours on, and then whatever is left gets poured back in, and you don't have any waste. And then the other trick is that I'll share with you is this is a Swiffer pad, a dry Swiffer pad, and you can use this to wipe up any extra embossing powder, or it works really good for glitter too. Okay, we are nice and hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this close, and you're going to see how quickly that turns. Isn't that so cool? Rotate that so I don't burn my hand here. Oh, heat embossing. It's like magical. It is the coolest thing. It is one of the first things I remember when I first started stamping like 20 years ago. And it never gets old. I still love to watch it. Okay, is that not so cool? Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to bring this back over. So what I want you to do is at this point you're going to put your designer series paper adhered to your note card, and you're going to also adhere that very vanilla piece centered, and then this piece is going to go centered over it as well. Okay, but this is the trick that I want to share with you. What we're going to do is we're going to take our, this is the multi-purpose glue, and what we're going to do here is we're going to take and we're going to go and we're just going to put little dots behind where the letters are. This is where we're going to glue this down to the note card. So you see that? Can you see that? Does that show up? So by doing it behind where the lettering is at, it's going to hide the glue. Now you can put some here, and then you can also put some across like that because of that piece right there. Okay, and I didn't grab an extra note card, so we're just going to have to go with this one so I can show you for demonstration purposes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put that down, and then here is a trick for you. When you've got something like that, see how it's going to want to kind of curl a little bit? Bring in one of your large blocks and set your large block on it and leave it there for about 10 to 15 minutes and just let it dry. That way it'll dry completely flat and you won't have any curling problems at all, just like I did for this one right here. So now what I want to show you to do is I want to show you how to get that ombre effect that we have right here, okay? And this one was done with the soft suede, the light and the dark soft suede Stampin' Blend markers. This card right here was done with a Stampin' Write marker, just a single Stampin' Write marker. There is also the shaded spruce that would look really good. So this is the Old Olive, and because we're using the accent in the Pear Pizzazz, which is like the light Old Olive looks like the Pear Pizzazz, and then the Old Olive is just a little bit darker. So we're going to go ahead and use this, and I want to show you how to do your coloring. So what you're going to want to do is take the light. I like to start with the light one. You can actually do it either way. And whether you use the brush tip or the fine tip, that one is up to you. But what you're going to do is you're going to just bring in your color, and you're going to color the light one about 2/3 from the top, okay? Just like that. And then you're going to bring in your dark one, and you're going to come in from the bottom. And then we're going to blend where the two are going to meet, okay? So like that. And then we're going to come back with the light one here, and we're just going to blend this a little bit. Okay, just like that. So then you get this really cool, like you can see it here, ombre effect, right? Very, very cool. Okay, after that, you're going to do all of your coloring, okay? And then we're going to come in with the fine tip glue pen, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. Actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and attach our pieces, because after you put on the glue, you're going to want to set it down and not have it move at all. So let's go ahead and put this right over that. So this is the ones that we did, just snipped out, and then those are mini dimensionals, just to pop it up and give it a little bit of dimension. And you can see right here where I had my glue. See where the glue is? We're just going to cover that over. You'll never know that that was there. So there you go. Now that was done with the soft suede, and then you've got the accent of the Pear Pizzazz. And you could bring in Pear Pizzazz sequins to decorate that. You could also use the metallic. So, you know, either one, if you use the Pear Pizzazz, would look really cool. Or like I said, you could use the metallic. Oops. Both of them would look really, really good. And then your last step before you're finally done is to come in with your fine tip glue, and you're going to flood the area with the glue. And this is where that heat embossing comes in, is that it kind of creates a dam, so it prevents your glue from spilling over. So what you're going to want to do, and I did kind of a quick job here, like I would get that bubble out of there, and that's kind of a quick job, but you're going to want to take your time and then just flood all the way through, and then set this down and let it dry. And it's going to need to dry for a little while. And then also bring your blocks in. So if you get any, you know, like it wants to curl up like that, then just bring your blocks in and set them on the corners, and just set this aside and let it dry. And then when it's done, you're just going to get that really beautiful glossy accent that just kind of makes it stand out, gives it a little more of that wow. Easy, easy to do. Well, I hope you liked today's projects. Thumbs up would be great if you did. The links will be on the YouTube description for the blog post. I do encourage you to sign up for my newsletter. If you like the videos, you like the tips that I share. I also do free project tutorials and some exclusive content that you won't see on the blog. So thank you for taking the time to watch. I appreciate it. Until next time, bye-bye.